What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Canvas Conversations, episode 2, brought to you by flowcombat.com. We've got an awesome episode for you guys today. It was basically the Michigan episode today, so if you're an MMA fan from the state of Michigan, you're bound to love this episode. We've got a good range and a good dynamic. We've got a UFC fighter in Amanda Cooper who will be fighting Mackenzie Dern all the way in Rio. She's coming off of a big win in Michigan, and she's going to really get tested all the way out there in Rio, which is basically kind of home turf for Mackenzie Dern. So it was great to catch up with her before this big fight in Rio. We've also got an up-and-coming heavyweight in Brett Martin. He'll be fighting for the vacant KOP heavyweight title at KOP 61, which is going to be airing live exclusively on flowcombat.com. So if you're not already a subscriber, be sure to get all set up before the 21st so you don't miss the action. Talking with Brett was awesome. He's got a great personality. I think he's going to be one to watch for sure, not only because he's going to be a fan favorite, but he's got the tools to back it up. The kid's a state champion wrestler. He's also got the ability to use that wrestling inside the MMA octagon and use it well. It's transitioned well for him. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. I'll do a little brief recap afterwards. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and kick it off now with Brett Martin. All right, guys, my guest today is making his first appearance on the show. He'll be fighting for the KOP heavyweight title at KOP 61. We've got the big dog himself, Mr. Brett Martin. How you doing this afternoon, Brett?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, man. Thanks for asking. I know you're getting ready to head practice, man. What are you usually doing throughout the day, though?
I work from 7 to 3 at the city of Coopersville, doing the Department of Public Works. So pretty much just like a maintenance guy for the city of Coopersville, and then do snow removal during the winter. And then like today, I came in to my other gym, Family Fitness, and just did some cardio to get some pounds off. And then at 6, I had to do my last week of sparring. It's pretty light since the week before the show, but it's sparring night tonight.
So I missed that. What did you say you do in the wintertime?
Snow removal. So I drive like one of the big plow trucks.
In Michigan, you're doing that a lot, though, right?
Yeah. It's a busy schedule during the winter. It's kind of nice this winter. I didn't have to fight, so I didn't really have to get through the try to figure out how to do camp through all that. So that was nice.
Yeah. Well, if I was gonna ask you that, but since you kind of answered that question for me, is that a scary job, bro? Doing the snow removal, driving those plows?
Not really, man. I grew up in the country, man. So I've been running chainsaws and stuff since I was like 12 years old. So I like that heavy equipment stuff and driving truck, and I'm not too bad at it. So, you got your scary moments though. Not everybody pays attention on the road. So a lot of times you got to do the paying attention and make sure people, you're not really the hazard everybody else is. Definitely when you're moving snow, because people don't really care that you're out there doing that.
Right. Well, how did you get into MMA as sort of your career?
One of my best friends when I was in high school that I wrestled with was one of KOP's first fighters as an amateur, man. He's one of their toughest fighters, when this all started. So I used to go and watch him, and everybody always said, like, Brett, when you going to fight? And at the time I was a college wrestler, so it didn't really fit into my schedule, and it wasn't really, under the scholarship that I had with the school, there wasn't really nothing I could do, So as soon as I quit wrestling, I just kind of trained a couple days with one of my buddies, and somebody seen that I was over there training, so they called me out, and yeah, here we are.
So when did you decide you wanted to try and make a living out of this?
To be honest, Dan, I didn't really ever think about trying to make a living off of it. It was just I'm a competitor, man. I play softball. Any sport you can kind of think of do as an adult. I'm trying to do it. And this kind of took over. Took over that, looking for something to do all the time. So when I was an amateur, I worked full time as well as I do now as a pro. But it was just kind of like something I did on the weekends, and I made money off tickets. So I just kept with it, kept doing it, and then sanctioning came around, and I was ranked number 1 in Michigan as a super heavyweight, but I was actually only like 10 to 15 pounds over 280 or 265 at that time. So I was making the jump to go pro, and then I went heavyweight after that. So I mean, I've fought the super heavies. Now I fought heavies. So I mean, it's turned into a lifestyle for sure.
Are you hoping that you can make this your full-time job for you?
Yeah, that's the plan. It's just keep working and see where the obviously my career goes. The guys I work with are awesome people, man. They are 100% behind me. They know what I do, and the whole city knows what I do. I mean, there's no secrets over there, and they support me. They know I'm in camp right now, so of course every day they're asking me how I'm doing and how it's going. So yeah, my goal is just to build a legacy and try to open up like maybe a wrestling academy or a self-defense school, just to help people feel a little bit more, self-confidence. That way, I feel like that's a lot of the problem with the world right now is people are just so insecure when they're out in the open and they feel like somebody's challenging them. They feel like they got something to prove. So it'd be nice to kind of, help the world out a little bit, help people get better every day and try to turn this world around to the better ways.
Bro, I could not agree more with that. That is so cool of you. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, here you are in I like your answer. Yep, no big deal, bro. Well, here you are in your first professional title bout. Is there any added excitement or any added pressure knowing that this fight is for a belt?
I don't know how to put it, man. I've never really been one for the medals and the charts, and I mean I won a state title, but a lot of that even was just the logo. You know what I mean? The name of it was what we worked for. You know what I mean? You want to be known as the best, whether or not there's hardware or not. So yeah, it's definitely something cool that it gives me something to work even harder for, and it's 5-round fight, which is if you're fighting at the top of the world, at the end of your career, towards where you want to be at the top, you're going 5 rounds. So to be able to get a 5-round fight at, I'll be 24 the night of the fight. I mean, it's my birthday the night of the fight, so I'll be 24. So I mean, to start out my mixed martial arts career as a professional, to get a 5-round fight at 24, it just shows the experience I could have in a couple years or even farther down the road, win, lose, or draw. You know what I mean? It's all about, winning and losing and getting better every day. And if you don't quit, who can tell you you're not good if you don't ever quit? So.
Yeah, I like that mentality. So I'm curious, are you happy to fight on your birthday? Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, man, I grew up, in my family, it was once you were like 16, 17, your birthday is kind of, it's out the door, like, whatever. Obviously you're 21st, you go out, but after you're 21, man, after that, you're an adult, you're grown, so you're working on your birthday usually. You know what I mean? You're working or you're doing something else. So to fight for a belt and kind of write a legacy for my name at 24 on my birthday. I mean, what could be better for myself? You know what I mean? It's a gift to myself to know that I'm pushing to chase my dreams and just be successful. So, I mean, what a better birthday present at 24 than a world title, regional world title, and just to know that I'm getting better, you know what I mean, every day.
Absolutely, of course. So the fights are in Michigan, and that's where you're from originally, right?
Yep, correct. Hesperia, Michigan is where I went to most of my schooling, but I lived in White Cloud.
So, like you said, you're a state champion there in Michigan, so you're probably going to have a big audience there in attendance. Is that something you're also looking forward to, is having some of those familiar faces in the crowd? Whoa.
Yeah. Yep, sorry,
No,
I
you're
dropped
good.
it.
You're good.
It's the second interview I've done this week where I've dropped my phone. So.
Yeah, I saw that one with James.
But no, it's always awesome to have my people there, dude, and that's really why I've always done this. You said it kind of turned into a lifestyle as I got going. For the fact of I had my first couple fights, I sold a lot of tickets, and then my third fight is actually my only loss, and I got KO'd in front of a bunch of my people. You know what I mean? A lot of my friends and stuff were out there, so. And then just for them to come up to me after that and be like, "Oh man, don't even let that get you down. Like, keep going." So I'm like 13 or 14 fights in now, I think, or it might even be 12. I'm not really sure, somewhere in that area. And just to keep having the amounts of support I have at every show. I mean, obviously fighting in Michigan is awesome because this is where I'm from. So and you can't stay here forever, but for the time being, there's nothing better. It's a beautiful thing.
Awesome, man. Well, I see on Instagram you receive a lot of support from your girlfriend. Does she enjoy going to the fights, and what does she think about this opportunity for you?
Uh, yeah, she loves it, man. She doesn't really say a lot. She kind of is just a supporter of it. You know what I mean? She doesn't tell me that I can and can't do stuff. You know what I mean? It's not something in our relationship we like doing. So she knows she's been to every fight. I think almost every fight, even before we even started dating. So because I knew her previously for a couple years. So she's always been there to support me, man. And you know, it's better now because she's in it with me. So you know, she takes care of all the little things, doing my laundry and you know what I mean, making sure I got healthy food and water in the fridge. And she's always asking me what my weight is and asking me how I'm doing, rubbing my body if I'm sore. So you know, she believes in me. She trusts me. She kind of sees that from my family. You know, she hangs out with my family pretty tight, and my family. There's one thing about my family, they trust me. You know what I mean, and they don't really get nervous anymore. Just for I've always been a fighter. You know, so she kind of got the vibe from them, and we just all kind of build it in as a family group, and they just believe in me, man. And I go in there and do the best I can.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's a strong network. It sounds like you have.
Oh, my family is it's unreal. And then to add her family is just as supportive as my family, you know. So and her family's down here, so my family's back up north helping me out up there when I need it, and her family's down here, you know, doing everything they can to make sure we're happy and that you know I'm getting the job done that I need, and it couldn't be better. Like I said on the last interview, man, it's just right now with where I'm at, everything's going pretty well, and hopefully it all just keeps rolling uphill from here on out.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I can relate to that. That's awesome. So, with this big fight coming up, being for the title, like we said, say you get the big win, what do you think's next for you? Would you like to stay in the KOP organization and defend that title?
Yeah, KOP is always there. Unless I get the call from, you know, a huge promotion and they're looking to sign me for a few fights, KOP will always be there. You know, I mean, KOP is my home, so I always enjoy coming back and putting on a show for KOP. You know, whether it's main event or not. You know, it's all about the people here in Grand Rapids and my family, and this is a place where I know I can always come and put on a show, whether I'm the best in the world or, you know, just any other average human being out here just trying to get better. I know that my people will be there. So I enjoy fighting for KOP, and I hope that always is there. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to whatever's next. You know, I don't like asking for things, and I feel like after I put on a good show next week that I'll have a lot of promotions looking at me wondering who I am and you know what it's about. And it's like I said, win, lose or draw, I'm always going to get better, and I'm the same person after the fight that I am now. You know, there's no bad blood. It's a competitive sport, and I just go in there hoping for the best and that I can, you know, show my improvements and give my team and my family the name that we deserve, you know, from all the hard work.
Your opponent, Ruben Esparza, I'm curious, do you know much about him? And if you do, how do you see this fight playing out between you two?
I don't really know a lot about him. Like I said, I fought all my fights at KOP, and I think his first fight for KOP was at the last show. So I mean, I don't know the guy. I know he had a long amateur career. He was like 17-1, and now he's like 2-1 or 3-1 as a pro. I know he likes to throw heavy leather. Everything I've heard, he likes to come in and try to throw and bang, which is fine because that's, you know, I mean, that's all heavyweights. Every heavyweight has heavy hands, so I mean, I'm good to mix it up wherever. But I feel like if I get him to the ground, it's going to be like every one of my fights. Anybody I get to the ground, it's usually a pretty rough night for him, and there's never a problem with me getting somebody to the ground. So unless he's closing these holes that I saw when I watched his last fight, I don't see it going very well for him.
I sometimes feel like it's hard to fill in, the experience that a wrestler has with however many matches each wrestler has usually had. I feel like it's hard to fill in that gap of experience with guys that haven't had that, you know?
Yeah, and what comes with experience is wisdom, man. And I've wrestled around some of the best wrestlers that have ever walked this nation. You know what I mean? I mean the best high school wrestler ever to live in this nation was from my high school. He was 260 and 0. His name's Justin Zera, and it happened to be one of my best friend's older brothers. So I mean, I watched guys name legacies in Michigan wrestling. You know what I mean? Every day in such a small school, and we got talked down on it all the time. So the nitty gritty is what I grew up on. You know what I mean? I was never a great wrestler until later on, you know, junior, senior year in high school. So for me, I learned to be super smart and just kind of think my way through things as I'm attacking. And, use my brain as more of an advantage than even my body as my strength. So I feel like a lot of the guys I fight, I out wisdom them, even though I'm young. You know what I mean? I put them in situations that they wouldn't really know what to do. They're trying to overpower me when I'm not even working. I'm just tiring them out. You know, that's pretty much what I did my whole last fight. You know, hurt. I was injured, tore my leg up, and I just took the fight into my own hands and was being as smart as I could. So, like I said, I feel like with a lot of the heavyweights, you know, until I get to that highest level and I'm dealing with guys that think the way I think I'll always be all right.
It seems like you have a really strong mental focus. Do you do a lot of mental preparation before your fights?
Nah, man. Like I said, I've been in any kind of competition you can think about as a high school wrestler. I mean, you know, 4 years in a row we're at the team state, and then I watched it from fifth grade till, you know what I mean, till I was in high school. So I had 4 years of just watching people be successful, and I was successful. And then I had a rough freshman year. I didn't do what I wanted to do. So after that, I started paying attention to the people around me. You know, all my buddies that were all very successful. You know, no matter what they look like, body shape wise or not, I was trying to pick from them and learn from them. So, you know, and that's how I got good at wrestling, is I just learned from everybody, no matter how good they were. So that's how I took this mixed martial arts thing, is I just pick from everybody. I learn. I mean, you can learn from anything, man. The smallest shit matters. So that's what I just take that into preparation. And my head is, I'm always going to be mentally strong, man. I was the biggest kid, you know, I was the heavyweight a lot of times, and I've always been pretty chunky. I've always had this big frame with a little, you know, spare tire love on the belly. So for me, it was never a confidence problem, man. I walked around with, you know, 15 to 20 guys every day, and I was always having just as much fun swagging out and dancing and shit, messing with those guys as anybody else.
Awesome, man. Well, I know every camp has got to be a little bit different, being that this is a title fight camp. Have you had any obstacles to overcome, or has it been smooth sailing?
Like I said, man, I got pretty messed up last camp. I've had a pretty jacked up knee for about 3 years, and we're gonna get it taken care of hopefully after this fight. But other than that typical problem, man, there's no change. It's all dings and dents. Like I said, you learn to fight through that kind of stuff. Growing up on a wrestling team that was 14 guys, you know what I mean, that you didn't have anybody to fill holes. So when you wrestled hurt a lot of times just to try to survive, and then you end up pushing yourself to the limits you didn't know you could go. So it's all dings and dents, and get through camp. And like I said, it's all worth it on April 22nd, man. That no matter what, it's all worth it the day after.
Well, man, I know sponsorships are a big deal for all fighters, but especially those that are still making their way up the ranks. So, do you have any sponsors that have been helping you out for this camp that you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, I got so many good sponsors, man. I got Life Fuel has been helping me out with my meal preps. Papa Piccioni's Pizza in Kent City and Ravenna, they sponsored me. They're like a life sponsor, man. They've been here for a while. Mr. Vapor, which I'm doing my meet and greet this weekend in Muskegon, Michigan on Sunday from 3 to 6. They've been there since, I think it was like my second amateur fight or my third amateur fight. So definitely a big shout out to those two sponsors for sure. They've been lifetime. You know, they've been there for the lifetime of my mixed martial arts career. I got some new ones. Hayabusa just came on, and they're helping out. Steely's Tees. They always help with my T-shirts and take care of my fight shorts usually if they aren't already taken care of. Nate Williams, Christy and Nate Williams, they do all of my designs, so thanks to them. And then, of course, thanks to Knockout Promotions for the opportunity, and my management company, Cage Side Management.
Awesome, brother. Well, Brett, I appreciate the time, man. I know you got to get into practice. I'm taking a peek at the clock, so I want to be mindful of that and let you get in there. But before I let you go, what have you been jamming to as far as music lately?
Oh man, I've been listening. I listened to that song "Champion" by Carrie Underwood and Ludacris. That's a new one that my mom showed me. I really like that. That's a good one. And then "Proud" by 2 Chainz. It's him and YG and I think one other guy, and it's about their moms. It's just talking about trying to make their mama proud. I've been listening to those 2 songs quite a bit.
That's cool. That's cool. I gotta check that second one out. I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, it's just called "Proud." It's not. It's actually pretty new. It's by 2 Chainz. One of my buddies showed it to me probably a week ago. It's a pretty good song.
Word, man. All right, I'll check it out. All right, guys,
For sure.
be sure to mark your calendars. Saturday, April 21st. It's Brett Martin taking on Ruben Esparza for the KOP heavyweight title, and it's only on flowcombat.com. So be sure to subscribe to gain full access so you don't miss out on the show. Awesome. So there we have it. Like I said, a really cool up and coming heavyweight, a very nice guy, obviously filled with a lot of confidence and very well should have it. He seems like he's got a bright future ahead of him, so be sure to be on the lookout. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed to flowcombat.com already, be sure to do so you don't miss out on that action on the 21st. Also on the show, we had Amanda Cooper, who will be fighting Mackenzie Dern in Rio de Janeiro. So we'll get right into it with our next interview with Amanda Cooper, and I'll see you guys afterwards. My next guest today will be making her first appearance on the show. She'll be fighting May 12th at UFC 224. She is UFC strawweight Amanda Cooper. Good afternoon, Amanda. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. So did you have a busy training day today?
I did. I had a really busy one yesterday. It was killing, but so today I think I'm feeling it. I've only done once today, and I'm about to head to the gym again. But yesterday was like 4 training sessions and like so much sparring, and oh, it was rough.
No rest for the wicked, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, how are you feeling headed into this fight camp? It's been a big one, so how are you feeling?
I'm great. I'm about halfway through right now. 4 weeks left. I got the call like with an 8-week notice. Normally I get about 12 weeks, but this was actually good because I'd already been training and I've been hungry for a fight and wanting to fight. So as soon as I got the call, I'm like, quick notice, eight weeks to be perfect. And it's going really well right now.
Perfect. I saw you were at UFC 223 last week. What did you think about all that madness that happened last week?
It's crazy. It was like driving there because I came from Michigan and it was about a 10-hour drive. And I feel like every time I like napped and woke up, there's another fight that fell through. And I'm like, what are we even driving there for? This sucks. And Kies is a buddy of ours, so we really wanted to see him fight. So it's not great that he didn't fight, but the card ended up being pretty awesome, and the show was cool. We got front row, so I'm not too upset about it.
Awesome. How did you work out tickets for that deal?
No, I just email and ask, and if they have extras, they can give it to the UFC fighters.
Oh, that's awesome. What did you think about the co-main event?
You know, live it's always different because with the film and when you're watching on TV, every angle of them getting hit looks so much more intense. And when you're at the fight, you're just kind of watching two people like go back and forth. It looks like tag, and it was a good, very, very technical fight. I think they both had very good technical striking. It was thought out. It was calculated. Which is impressive, but there wasn't a lot of excitement, and it didn't look like anyone really wanted it, and that was kind of upsetting to see. I thought Joanna probably should have came out a little bit harder and fought a little bit more, but I'm hats off to Rose for making it happen twice now.
You scored the fight for Rose then too?
Yeah, I did. It was close. Like I thought it was Rose, but if they would have said Joanna, I'd be like, oh, okay, now they want a third fight. It was just a pretty close fight. I thought Rose won watching it live, and then I looked at the stats the next day, and it was like, wow, Joanna landed more. But like I said, watching it live, if I was a judge, I would have said Rose won.
Well, you're coming off a big win yourself, a big win at home as well. How did it feel to get that win at home?
It was awesome. At first I was a little bit nervous about fighting my hometown. I just figured like all my friends, all my family, everyone I've ever met was going to be there, and they're going to be messaging me like, what time should I get there? Just all the normal crap that I've had to deal with when I was an amateur. But it actually pumped me up, walking out and hearing everyone chant my name and the crowd go crazy really gave me what I needed to win that fight. And I took the energy of the crowd when I walked out. I just took it all in, and it was something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Oh, man, that's awesome. It looked like you were full of energy.
Yeah,
Great fight.
my coach was like, calm down. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's awesome. It's hard to calm down, I feel like, if you're fighting in front of your hometown. I feel like that's a really emotional fight, right?
Yeah, it is. It's emotional, and I've done the opposite, where I tried to like zone in and focus and not listen to anyone when I walk out, and just try to stay in it. But I've actually done worse that way, and I really think, just taking in the crowd, whether the crowd's positive or negative or whatever the crowd is, just taking what's going on, taking like the room and taking where you're at and being present, being in the moment. And I believe I'll just continue to do that for all my fights and make sure I'm there when I'm fighting and not, trying to stay somewhere else.
Yeah, of course. Well, you go from fighting at home to fighting in Rio, and you're fighting Mackenzie Dern, which is for her sort of like home field advantage. Yeah. How are you feeling about that?
I'm excited only probably because I just went from the opposite end and I was at home and I got to see my crowd, and now I get to go to someone else's. And I've been to Brazil before and I've watched fights in Brazil. So I'm actually, I know, if it's anything like the fights I was at too before, they always root for the Brazilian. They're home. It's their home. They're going to root for them. But the cool thing was I saw a lot of Americans fight, and at first no one was cheering for them, and then they, like, with their skill or how they brought their stuff in the cage, they quickly got fans, and the crowd ended up cheering for them at the end. So I do believe I'm already accepting the fact that I probably will be booed or not have a lot of fans there, but I visualize it just so I'm not shocked when it happens. But I think they're good fans. I think they're martial arts fans. I think they're gonna be happy with the fight and all.
So you're looking to make some Brazilian fans then?
Yeah, that's what I hope.
Right. So what do you think about fighting on the card ahead of guys like Lyoto Machida and Vitor Belfort, some real legends in the sport? Is that something that makes you a little bit nervous, or do you enjoy being that high up on the card?
I'm really excited to be high on the card. Like, when I found out, they don't call you or let you know. I just looked online one day. I was like, whoa, I'm on the main card. That's pretty awesome. That excites me. I love performing, and I really think performing at the highest level is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So this is just the first step to get to more pay-per-view cards, and those are legends. But I'm working to become one.
There you go. I love it. I love that. So Mackenzie's been getting a lot of the spotlight since she's entered the UFC. Do you feel like getting a big win over her steals some of that spotlight for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think she has unnecessary spotlight. She has necessary spotlight, like when it comes to jiu-jitsu, but not MMA. This is mixed, and she's not a full martial artist yet, and she got in it too quick and continues to take fights too quick. So I'm ready to take the spotlight from her.
Awesome. How have you envisioned this fight going?
I visualize every day. Mackenzie is a very predictable striker, not a good one, not a good wrestler. That's what I train every day, is my hands. I'm not getting taken down, and grappling every day. So I visualize this fight just hitting her hard. She's never been hit as hard as I can hit. I know. I've watched her fights. I know the girl she's fought, and she's going to start throwing desperate takedowns, and I'm going to keep landing punches, and I believe the second round is when I'm going to get the finish.
You said you like visualization. Are you big on mental preparation?
Yeah, 100%. I actually work with a mental coach. We do worksheets all the time. I'm actually on like a 10-day course right now. That's every 10 days we work and we talk, and I talk with my coaches. I talk with him. I talk with my training partners. I'm huge. Everyone says that fighting is 90% mental, at that level, especially on fight day. So why wouldn't I train the mindset? Why wouldn't I train my mind? I train everything else. I do everything else. I eat perfect. I train perfect. I, do everything I have to do. I need to do my mind as well. So, and this is only something I've been doing recently, but I've really found a big increase in how I'm training, how I'm feeling, and how I'm preparing for this fight.
Who's your mindset coach?
His name is Mike. I call him Mindset Mike.
Yeah. He works. I know Mindset Mike actually really well. I work with him here in Texas and do some stuff with him on Flow. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Mindset Mike on Twitter. You guys can follow him there. He's a great coach. He does a lot of good stuff with the mental preparation with a lot of UFC athletes.
He came into my gym the first day, and I think one of my teammates accidentally talked to him for 3 hours, and then I came in and accidentally talked to him for 2 hours. And it's just, you can just keep continuing to talk to him and continuing to feel good. And, I just think that I need to be on top of it in every area. And I really appreciate him working with me as much as he has.
Yeah. Once he starts bending your ear about that mental stuff, it's hard to get away from him, right?
Yeah, but it's good.
For sure.
Right. He spits it. My whole team's on it now. And I really think that it's going to be really good for our team.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know you like to be thoughtful about your matchups and your career. So with a big win over Mackenzie, what do you think and when do you think you'd like to fight next?
I want to fight usually 3 times a year, but I'm already I'm fighting May, maybe fall, end of summer, and then back again at the end of the year. I want to stay active as long as I need some break a little bit. I don't want to keep fight every month or something like that because I do need to improve and I do need to get better and I need to reset after a fight because fight camp's hard. It's hard on my body. It's hard on my mind. For 8 weeks. I'm only 4 weeks in. I got 4 weeks left, but I'm obsessive over a girl. And she's in my head every day. I gotta visualize when I go to bed, when I wake up, like I sit in the shower and that water running in my head, and I'm visualizing the fight and I'm visualizing the stare down. Like it's something that as soon as the fight's over, I'm happy to be done with it. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to think about that person anymore. I did my job. I did what I'm supposed to do. Take a month off, not training, still continue to train, but take a month off of fight camp, and then I like to get right back in it.
Awesome. Anybody in particular you have in your mind?
No, not yet. I just like to go one fight at a time. There's obviously girls that I watch. I'm like, I'm gonna beat her. I can beat her. That's what I did with Mackenzie. I saw her fight. I'm like, yep, I can beat that girl. I'm gonna beat that girl. But right now, I'm just focusing on Mackenzie, and then after that, I'll maybe call someone out on social media, whatever I have to do to get a fight.
Well, after that fight, you'll be in Rio. Are you going to do anything fun while you're over there?
I don't know if you've ever been to Rio, but no.
Yeah.
Usually in Rio, everything starts at like 2 a.m. So it's like
Yeah.
a good time to get done fighting, and then every party, the restaurants open, come alive at 2 a.m. And it gets pretty crazy. So we're staying a couple extra days. I actually have about 5 people coming with me, so we'll have fun. We'll explore. We'll see a little bit. We have a gym out there that we are allowed to train at, and I believe just have some fun after I get that win.
Awesome. Well, Amanda, I know you're busy, so I'll let you get back to it. I appreciate your time today. It was great to speak with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We're yeah, we're certainly looking forward to this one. Before I let you go, what have you been jamming to as far as music lately?
I'm always a big AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Kiss. Like that's just really what I listen to. When I'm wrestling, it's kind of rap because of my wrestling coach. She always listens to rap like hardcore, and she's like this 5'0" small child, and she's always listening to like hardcore rap. So like kind of gets us in the mindset to wrestle. But everything else I do, I'm always listening to like 80s rock, and that's just what gets me excited. I can say every word, sing every word, and when I'm moving my head around when I'm fighting, I like to just kind of keep that going in my head.
That's cool. I like that. Well, all right, guys. Be sure to tune in May 12th to UFC 224 from Rio. Amanda Cooper will be taking on Mackenzie Dern. Don't miss it.
Awesome.
Awesome. So there we have it. A cool interview with Amanda Cooper. It looks like she's got the mindset really focused in, kind of the opposite of Brett from the first interview. He was super confident, but doesn't use mental preparation. And Amanda Cooper, on the other hand, while still being super confident, does use the mental preparation. Cool to hear that she works with Mindset Mike. If you guys aren't familiar with them, that's the wrestling mindset guys. They have an awesome approach to things. They're working with a bunch of UFC athletes, and they started with wrestling and now we're working with UFC athletes and all kinds of athletes. I think they're getting to now. So it's pretty cool to see and hear what they're doing and see that network growing and building and getting bigger. So that's cool to hear that she's getting a lot of benefit from those guys at Martial Arts Mindset and Wrestling Mindset. And I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. It's been an awesome second episode. Can't wait to talk with you guys again next week. We'll be sure to keep you guys updated on who we're going to have next week. Again, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I appreciate the fighters, Brett and Amanda, for giving us your time. Be sure to tune into their fights. Brett fights on the 21st of April, live on Flow Combat. And of course, Amanda Cooper will be fighting at UFC 224 on May 12th, only on pay-per-view, so definitely don't miss that one as well. And be sure to check out flowcombat.com for all the latest in MMA news. And you guys can follow Canvas Conversations on all the regular social media platforms.